What if I told you that the biggest prison in your life has no walls? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is the conversation happening inside your own mind? Every battle you lose begins in your thoughts. Every fear that controls you starts with a single belief. Every limitation you carry was accepted before it became reality. But here's the truth. The moment you master your mind, you become unstoppable. No insult can shake you. No failure can define you. No rejection can destroy you. No obstacle can break you. Because the strongest person is not the one with the most power. The strongest person is the one who has complete control over themselves. Today, we're going to discover how to train your mind so that nothing, absolutely nothing, can break you. Life doesn't become easier because you become stronger. It becomes easier because your perspective changes. The world will continue to test you with disappointment, criticism, failure, betrayal, uncertainty, and pain. Those things are unavoidable. But suffering isn't created by events alone. It is created by the meaning your mind gives to those events. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control other people, control circumstances, or control outcomes. Yet the one thing they neglect is the only thing they truly own, their mind. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that no matter what happens today, your peace cannot be stolen. Imagine carrying a confidence that isn't dependent on praise, success, money, or approval. That is the power of mastering your mind. It isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent enough that your emotions no longer control your actions. Every great achievement begins as a single thought long before it ever becomes visible in the real world. Every successful business, every masterpiece, every invention, every inspiring leader, and every extraordinary life first existed in someone's mind as an idea that refused to disappear. In the same way, every limitation also begins as a thought, one that is repeated so often it slowly transforms into a belief, and that belief eventually feels like undeniable truth. Your mind is constantly collecting evidence for whatever you choose to believe. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough, I always fail," or "success isn't meant for people like me," your brain will unconsciously notice every setback while ignoring every opportunity. Small failures become proof that you're incapable, while victories are dismissed as luck. Without realizing it, you begin living inside a story that your own thoughts have written. The most dangerous prison is not made of walls, it is built from beliefs that convince you to stop trying before you've even begun. Once your mind accepts those beliefs as reality, your actions shrink, your confidence fades, and your dreams become smaller, not because they were impossible, but because you stopped believing they were possible. Now imagine reversing that process. Imagine waking up every morning with thoughts that strengthen you instead of weaken you. When you begin feeding your mind with confidence, hope, discipline, and possibility, your perspective starts to shift in remarkable ways. The obstacles that once looked permanent become challenges waiting to be solved. The opportunities you never noticed suddenly appear because your mind is finally looking for them. This doesn't mean life becomes easy or that problems magically disappear. It means you develop the mindset to face those problems with courage instead of fear. That is why highly successful people protect their minds with the same care that athletes protect their bodies. They understand that today's thoughts become tomorrow's habits become tomorrow's decisions, and those decisions create the future they will eventually live. Your reality is shaped first in your imagination before it is reflected in your actions. Change the conversations you have with yourself, replace doubt with determination, fear with faith, and excuses with action, and you'll discover that the world around you begins to change, not because reality itself has changed, but because you have changed the lens through which you see it. The moment your thinking evolves is the moment your destiny quietly begins to move in a new direction. Every time you allow someone else's words to determine how you feel about yourself, you quietly hand them the keys to your peace of mind. Think about how often a single careless comment, an insult, a rejection, or even a stranger's opinion has the power to ruin an entire day. Why should someone who barely knows your story have the authority to decide your value? The truth is, they don't, but many people unknowingly give them that power. When you depend on praise to feel worthy, you also become vulnerable to criticism. Your emotions begin to rise and fall according to other people's moods, opinions, and expectations. That is not freedom, it is emotional dependence. Every moment you let someone else's judgment define your identity, you surrender a part of your confidence and your inner peace. Remember, people judge you through the lens of their own experiences, fears, insecurities, and beliefs. Their opinion may reveal who they are, but it does not define who you are. Your worth has never been determined by the approval of others, and it never will be. The strongest people are not those who never face criticism, they are the ones who refuse to let criticism become their identity. They listen with wisdom, learn when there is something valuable to improve, and then leave the rest behind without carrying it as emotional baggage. They understand that confidence is built through integrity, discipline, and self-respect, not through applause, compliments, or social approval. The day you stop chasing validation is the day you begin reclaiming your power. Imagine living a life where rejection no longer destroys your confidence, where disrespect no longer steals your peace, and where praise is appreciated but never required for your happiness. That kind of freedom cannot be given to you by the world, it must be created within you. Build your confidence on your character, your values, and the promises you keep to yourself. When your self-worth comes from within, no criticism can break you, no rejection can define you, and no opinion can control the direction of your life. The moment you stop giving your power to other people is the moment you finally become the author of your own life. Every person dreams of a life without pain, yet some of life's greatest transformations are born from the moments we wish had never happened. Comfort may make you feel safe, but it rarely changes who you are. Growth begins the moment life pushes you beyond the limits of what feels familiar. Every failure, heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, and unexpected setback carries a lesson that success alone could never teach. Pain strips away illusions and forces you to confront the truth about yourself. It reveals your hidden fears, exposes your weaknesses, and challenges the beliefs that have been holding you back. In those difficult moments, you discover strengths you never knew existed because they were never needed before. Just like fire strengthens steel, adversity strengthens character. The person you become after surviving hardship is often wiser, more compassionate, more disciplined, and far more resilient than the person who entered it. Pain is not merely something to survive, it is one of life's greatest classrooms, shaping you into someone capable of handling the future with greater courage and wisdom. The moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" everything changes. Your mindset shifts from being a victim of circumstances to becoming a student of life. Every obstacle becomes a lesson in patience. Every rejection teaches resilience. Every mistake becomes an opportunity to grow. Every loss reminds you to appreciate what truly matters. Instead of allowing suffering to fill your heart with bitterness, you allow it to fill your mind with understanding and your spirit with strength. The strongest people are not those who were lucky enough to avoid pain, they are the ones who walked through it without allowing it to harden their hearts or destroy their purpose. They let every challenge refine their character, deepen their wisdom, and strengthen their resolve. One day, you may look back on the hardest chapter of your life and realize it was never sent to break you. It was preparing you for responsibilities, opportunities, and victories that the person you once were could never have handled. Sometimes the greatest gift life gives you comes wrapped in the pain you never wanted but desperately needed. The most influential conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place inside your own mind. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, your inner voice is constantly speaking, interpreting your experiences, judging your actions, and shaping the way you see yourself. It is louder than the opinions of your family, stronger than the expectations of your friends, and more persistent than the criticism of strangers. The question is, what is it saying? If that voice constantly reminds you of every mistake you've ever made, tells you that you're not good enough, or convinces you that you'll never succeed, your mind slowly begins to accept those messages as reality. Over time, those repeated thoughts become beliefs, those beliefs shape your decisions, and those decisions determine the direction of your life. Many people don't lose because they lack talent or opportunity, they lose because the voice inside their own head convinces them to quit before they've truly begun. A negative inner dialogue quietly steals confidence, drains motivation, and creates limits that exist nowhere except in the mind. But imagine what would happen if your inner voice became your greatest ally instead of your greatest enemy. Speaking to yourself with kindness doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It means being honest without being cruel, learning without condemning yourself, and growing without carrying unnecessary shame. Replace the words, "I can't do this," with, "I'm still learning." Replace, "I failed," with, "I gained experience that will make me stronger." Replace, "I'm not enough," with, "I'm becoming better every single day." These small changes may seem insignificant, but repeated consistently, they reshape the way you think, feel, and act. Your mind listens to the words you repeat most often, whether they lift you up or tear you down. Choose words that build resilience, inspire courage, and strengthen your belief in what's possible. Become the person who encourages yourself when no one else does, who believes in yourself when doubt appears, and who refuses to let one bad day define your future. The quality of your inner dialogue creates the quality of your emotional reality, and the moment you master the voice within, you begin to master the life around you. Motivation is a wonderful feeling, but it was never meant to carry you through life's biggest goals. It arrives with excitement, fills you with energy, and convinces you that anything is possible. But sooner or later, that feeling fades. The excitement wears off, distractions appear, challenges become harder than expected, and progress begins to slow. This is where most people give up, not because their dreams were impossible, but because they depended on emotions that were never designed to last. The people who achieve extraordinary things understand a simple truth: motivation may get you started, but discipline is what carries you across the finish line. There will be mornings when your bed feels more comfortable than your goals, days when your energy is low, moments when doubt whispers that your efforts aren't making a difference, and weeks when the results you hoped for seem nowhere in sight. Those are the moments that quietly shape your future. Every decision to keep going when you don't feel like it separates dreamers from achievers. Success is rarely built during moments of excitement, it is built during the ordinary days when no one is watching and quitting feels easier than continuing. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to be perfect, it is about keeping the promises you make to yourself, even when your emotions try to pull you in another direction. Every time you choose action over excuses, consistency over comfort, and responsibility over procrastination, you strengthen your character in ways that cannot be measured overnight. Think of discipline as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Each workout you complete despite feeling tired, every page you read when you would rather scroll through your phone, every difficult conversation you face instead of avoiding it, and every commitment you honor when no one would know if you quit is another repetition that builds mental strength. Over time, these small choices create an unshakable sense of self-confidence because you begin to trust yourself. You know that when you make a commitment, you will follow through. That trust becomes one of the greatest sources of confidence a person can possess. Motivation will come and go like the weather, but discipline remains steady through every season of life. And in the end, it is not the person who felt the most inspired who succeeds, it is the one who kept moving forward long after inspiration disappeared. Protecting your peace is one of the greatest forms of strength, yet it is a lesson that many people learn only after years of unnecessary stress and emotional exhaustion. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Not every opinion deserves a place in your mind. Too often, people spend their days trying to prove themselves to those who have already decided not to understand them. They waste precious hours replaying conversations, responding to criticism, and carrying emotional burdens that never belonged to them in the first place. But every time you allow negativity, drama, or conflict to occupy your thoughts, you pay for it with something far more valuable than time: you pay with your peace. Your mental energy is one of your most limited resources. Once it is drained by pointless battles and unnecessary conflict, you have less focus, less creativity, less patience, and less strength to invest in the people and goals that truly matter. Learning to protect your peace means recognizing that you do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Sometimes the greatest victory is choosing not to fight at all. There is incredible freedom in accepting that not everyone will understand you, agree with you, or appreciate your intentions, and that is perfectly okay. You don't need to explain yourself to every critic, correct every misunderstanding, or convince everyone that you're right. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you, and no amount of explanation will change their minds. Wisdom is knowing the difference between conversations worth having and conflicts that only steal your energy. Choose silence when silence protects your spirit. Walk away when staying only creates more chaos. Forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve to be free from carrying unnecessary resentment. Protect your boundaries without guilt, and guard your inner calm as if it were your greatest treasure, because it is. Every moment you refuse to engage in negativity is a moment you reclaim your power. Invest your energy in becoming wiser, kinder, healthier, and stronger instead of proving yourself to people who have no intention of seeing your value. In the end, a peaceful mind is far more powerful than the satisfaction of winning an argument, because true success is not measured by how many battles you win, but by how much peace you keep while walking through life. One of the greatest sources of anxiety in life is the desire to control everything. We carefully plan our future, set timelines, create expectations, and imagine exactly how our lives should unfold. But life has a way of reminding us that not everything is within our control. Plans change, opportunities disappear, people leave, unexpected challenges arise, and the path we imagined suddenly takes a completely different direction. For many, uncertainty feels frightening because it forces them to step into the unknown without any guarantees. Yet uncertainty is not the enemy, it is simply the place where life is still being written. Every meaningful journey is filled with moments where the next step is unclear. If you wait until you have complete certainty before taking action, you may spend your entire life standing still. The strongest people are not those who always know what will happen next, they are the ones who keep moving forward despite not knowing. They understand that courage is not the absence of uncertainty, it is the decision to act in the middle of it. A flexible mind can adapt, learn, and recover from almost anything, while a rigid mind often breaks under the weight of unexpected change. Instead of fearing uncertainty, begin to see it as the doorway to possibilities you could never have planned for yourself. Some of the greatest opportunities in life arrive disguised as disappointments. The job you didn't get may lead you toward a career that fulfills you even more. The relationship that ended may prepare you for a healthier and deeper connection. The failure that once felt unbearable may become the experience that teaches you resilience, wisdom, and confidence. Growth rarely happens when everything is predictable and comfortable. It happens when life pushes you into unfamiliar territory, forcing you to discover strengths you never knew you possessed. Every uncertain chapter carries hidden lessons, unexpected opportunities, and new directions waiting to be uncovered, but only if you have the courage to keep turning the pages. Stop demanding certainty before you move forward. Instead, build trust in your ability to adapt to whatever comes next. The future does not belong to the people who have perfect plans, it belongs to those who remain calm when everything changes, who adjust instead of resisting, and who continue walking with faith even when they cannot yet see the entire path. Sometimes the greatest blessings in your life are waiting on the other side of the uncertainty you're afraid to embrace. Mental resilience is not something that suddenly appears when life falls apart. It is quietly built long before the storm ever arrives. Just as a strong building is reinforced brick by brick, a strong mind is developed through countless small decisions made every single day. Every time you choose patience instead of reacting in anger, discipline instead of giving in to laziness, gratitude instead of focusing on what you lack, and courage instead of surrendering to fear, you are strengthening your mind in ways you may not immediately notice. These moments often seem ordinary, but they are shaping the person you are becoming. Most people believe strength is revealed during life's biggest challenges, but the truth is that those challenges simply expose the habits you've been building all along. If you consistently train your mind during the calm seasons of life, you will not be easily shaken when difficult seasons inevitably arrive. The person who remains calm under pressure didn't become strong overnight, they practice strength in the small moments that no one else ever saw. Think of your mind as a muscle that grows stronger every time it is challenged. The more you resist negative impulses, the greater your self-control becomes. The more often you choose progress over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and hope over despair, the more resilient your character becomes. These small victories may seem insignificant on their own, but together they create an unstoppable foundation of confidence, wisdom, and emotional stability. One day, you will face a challenge that would have overwhelmed the person you used to be, yet you'll handle it with calmness because your daily choices have transformed you from the inside out. That is the true power of consistency. Great resilience is never built in a single dramatic moment, it is earned through hundreds of quiet decisions repeated day after day, even when no one is watching. Keep showing up for yourself, keep choosing what is right over what is easy, and trust that every disciplined decision is preparing you for a future where obstacles no longer intimidate you but instead become opportunities to demonstrate the strength you have patiently built over time. One of the greatest sources of stress and anxiety is spending your time fighting battles that were never yours to win. So many people exhaust themselves trying to control the uncontrollable, worrying about the weather, the economy, the opinions of strangers, the decisions of other people, or mistakes that can never be undone. They replay old conversations, imagine endless worst-case scenarios, and carry burdens that no amount of worrying will ever change. But life has always been unpredictable, and no amount of fear can guarantee tomorrow. The harder you try to control everything around you, the more frustrated and powerless you become. True wisdom begins when you recognize the difference between what you can influence and what you simply must accept. You cannot rewrite yesterday, force someone to understand you, or prevent every challenge from entering your life. However, you can choose how you respond to every situation. You can control your attitude when things don't go as planned, your effort when the task becomes difficult, your integrity when no one is watching, and your courage when fear tells you to quit. That is where your real power has always been. The moment you stop resisting reality and start focusing your energy on what is within your control, an incredible sense of freedom enters your life. Instead of wasting your strength on circumstances you cannot change, you begin investing it in becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Imagine how much peace you would experience if you stopped carrying the weight of things that were never yours to carry. Every minute spent worrying about the uncontrollable is a minute stolen from building the future you truly want. Every moment spent dwelling on the past is a moment taken away from creating a better tomorrow. Let go of the need to control every outcome, and replace it with the determination to control your own character. Trust yourself to adapt, to learn, and to keep moving forward no matter what life places in your path. Peace is not found in having complete control over the world around you, it is found in mastering the world within you. When you focus on your thoughts, your actions, your values, and your response instead of external circumstances, you become impossible to shake. That is the quiet strength of a resilient mind, and it is one of the greatest forms of freedom a person can ever achieve. Becoming unbreakable does not mean you will never experience pain, fear, sadness, or moments of doubt. It does not mean life will stop challenging you or that everything will suddenly become easy. In fact, life will still knock you down in ways you never expected. You will face setbacks that test your patience, losses that shake your emotions, and moments where everything feels heavier than you can carry. But being unbreakable is not about avoiding these experiences, it is about how you respond to them. It is the decision to rise again, even when you feel tired. It is the ability to sit with discomfort without allowing it to define who you are. Every fall becomes part of your training, every failure becomes a lesson in disguise, and every painful experience becomes a reminder that you are still capable of continuing. Strength is not built in comfort, it is forged in the moments when continuing feels difficult, but you choose to move forward anyway. True strength is not measured by how smooth your journey is, but by how determined you remain when everything becomes uncertain and heavy. The person who becomes unbreakable is not the one who never struggles, but the one who refuses to stay broken. Every challenge you survive adds another layer of resilience to your character. Every obstacle you overcome teaches you something that comfort never could. Over time, you begin to realize that nothing life throws at you can permanently defeat you unless you allow it to. Your spirit becomes stronger than your circumstances, and your mindset becomes more powerful than your fears. The mind that refuses to quit slowly becomes unstoppable, not because life stops being difficult, but because you stop letting difficulty decide your future. In the end, becoming unbreakable is not about never falling, it is about always finding the strength to rise again, no matter how many times life tries to keep you down. Your greatest enemy has never been failure. It has never been rejection. It has never been difficult people or difficult circumstances. Your greatest battle has always been inside your own mind. Master your thoughts, and your emotions begin to obey. Master your emotions, and your actions become intentional. Master your actions, and your life transforms. The world may continue throwing challenges your way, but once your mind becomes stronger than your circumstances, nothing can truly break you. The greatest victory isn't conquering the world. It's conquering yourself. The strongest mind is not the one that never faces storms, it is the one that learns to create peace within them. What is the one limiting belief you are ready to let go of today so you can become mentally stronger? Take a moment and reflect on this deeply, because sometimes the biggest prison is not the situation we are in, but the thoughts we keep repeating about ourselves. Maybe it is the belief that you are not good enough, or that you always fail, or that change is too hard for you. Maybe it is the fear that you are behind in life, or that success is only for other people. Whatever it is, that belief has been shaping your decisions, your confidence, and the way you see your future more than you realize. But the truth is, a belief is not a fact, it is just a thought you have repeated long enough to accept as reality. And anything that was learned can also be unlearned. So today, choose awareness. Choose honesty with yourself. Ask yourself, is this belief helping me grow, or is it holding me back? Because the moment you start questioning your limitations, you start breaking them. Growth begins where excuses end, and transformation begins when you stop identifying with the thoughts that weaken you. You are not your doubt, you are not your fear, and you are not your past failures. You are the one who can choose a new direction starting right now. If you are ready to grow, release one belief that no longer serves you and make space for a stronger version of yourself. Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own healing or transformation. I would genuinely love to read your journey, learn from your perspective, and see how you are choosing to grow today. If you think I provided valuable content, please like this video, subscribe to The Growth Dose, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video on personal growth, mental strength, and self-mastery. Also, share your thoughts in the comment section. Your story, your experience, or even one lesson you've learned may inspire someone else to begin their own journey toward confidence, resilience, and lasting inner peace. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.